Hey guys, Ben here from Cinder Studios, and I'm back with Message to My Subscribers number 10, another year in review. So, as always, I just want to start this off by saying thank you. Thank you for being a subscriber to this channel, thank you for watching this video today, and thank you for just supporting my art in general, and I absolutely love you guys. I never want to stop making videos. This is so much fun. As always with my Message to Subscriber videos, these are sort of end of the year recaps. I do one of these every December, or at least have since I think like 2012-ish. And they're just a way for me to kind of recap the year, tell you about some cool stuff I've got coming up next year, as well as this year I'm actually going beyond next year into 2020 with future plans, so it should be fun. So again, first off, thank you guys so much. This has been a very nice growth year for the channel. Another about 1,000 subscribers came in. So again, if you're new, awesome, welcome. Welcome to the Cinder Studios family, and happy to have you here as well. Outside of that, it's just kind of been throwing videos out there. There were a couple videos that kind of got bigger than I thought they would this year. There was one from I think early 2017, maybe 2016. It was one of the first ones I did here in the new Cinder Studios, and it was the molding paste versus joint compound, which got actually kind of popular, which I was surprised about. Now, as far as selling my art goes, this year has actually been kind of dry. I had some stuff early in the year in the spring, like maybe 2 or 3 things in the summer, and that was about it. Really next to no online sales. And it's kind of just been more of a year for building new supplies in the studio and really just creating really cool new art. That's actually the one thing I feel like is really a huge success with this year. Last year I think a lot too, because I didn't do as many shows last year either. But it was this idea of holding back and just really focusing on making better art. And I impressed myself this year. There were so many awesome, cool, interesting pieces that are really just like me taking my art further. A lot of which never had painting process videos. One in particular was overlooking the new world, which I think this year has been, between friends and family and a lot of fans, has been everybody's like new favorite piece of mine. Everybody loves this piece, and heck, I love this piece. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell this one. If I do, it's going to be for a nice high price tag, because this was a cool piece. I think I did like 3 space pieces this year at least too. That's really strange. I normally only do 1, maybe 2. It was like 3 or 4. It was like, man, I'm just space art. It's so much fun. I had a couple of hiccups health-wise this year that I didn't really talk about any great length, at least here on the channel, but I do want to reference them. The first biggest one, and this actually scared the crap out of me, it was like February, and for the first time in 15 years, I started getting panic attacks. It's not something I kind of talk about regularly, because honestly, I'd kind of forgotten about it. And then for constantly all day long for 3 days straight, I was getting panic attacks, and it was really kind of a shift in just like, okay, why is this coming back now? And the truth is, I don't know. Other people might have sort of anxiety triggers. For me, it's just random. It just happens, and I can't really do anything about it. So I kind of it's like, okay, Ben, breathe normally and ignore it, and that's just kind of how it goes. From that event, I actually started kind of looking at my just how I go about things, certain little things that are actually health-wise wrong with me chronically. One in particular that I think I may have alluded to a couple of times on the channel, but I didn't really talk about, was the fact that I do have ADD. It's relatively mild. I can handle it without medication, but it is something that I am conscious of, and this year I tried to be more conscious of it, and it's something that I, especially at my day job, I'm like, okay, I know how I can get distracted easily, let's try and build workarounds for that. And it's especially hard, I think. I think a lot of creative people have it, because our minds bounce around between a lot of different stuff. But when it comes to actually working on a project, if you can be excited to work on a project, your mind can really focus in. and so I try and use that. I actually sketch on my lunch break every day at work. For that reason, is so to kind of reset my head a little bit, and be able to keep focusing. So like this year I try to be a lot more conscious of it, and I think it's actually really kind of helped things along in that regard. And the final thing was, it showed up in the, I think, May or something like that. I had a chest cough for like 2 months, and there were a couple of videos that I kind of talked about it, and I'm like, I can't. There was one video like I can't make a video this week because I can't talk for more than like 10 or 15 seconds without having to cough. So that was a bit of a thing, but I'm doing better now. Doing just fine now. I haven't had a panic attack since like April, so things are good. So all that out of the way, let's talk about what's coming next. In the next just couple of weeks, there's, with the exception of this week, there's two more videos this year. So one is just going to be another just like sort of regular art tutorial review. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I've got a lot of stuff on my board and things, potential ideas I can work on, so it's going to depend on what the next week looks like. Actually, next week's going to be really busy for me, so it might be a how to be an artist part or something, or a quick tip, so it probably won't be anything super groundbreaking. After that, it's like 3 days or something before the new year, and at that point it'll be, as always, the art video outtakes. I have a lot of the videos to sort through, so that's going to take me some time to do. I always tell myself, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to catalog them as I go along, and then I don't. I get lazy. Now, one thing I did this year that not a lot of people actually know about, because I'm hesitant to talk about it and be known for this, but when I stopped making short films, I started writing more. And one thing that I've been working on for the better part of 10 years is a novel called The Demon Gate Chronicles. I've posted here and there with it on the channel. There's a short film series I did in college that is in that universe. But I decided, I'm like, let's sort of go back to my original draft and rewrite this thing. So it's a 17-chapter fantasy novel, which when I have like an e-reader version. It's not really formatted for a book or anything, but it's something like 350 pages or something in that regard. I think when it's actually formatted down, it's closer to maybe like 220, but you know, whatever formats and everything like that. So right now I'm in the process of sort of getting it in people's hands, friends of friends, family, just to see if it's worth taking further than that. I've had a few friends actually kind of suggest, like, maybe you should just send it to publishers, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to be known as a writer. Like, I'm a painter, I do this stuff. I don't know if I want that to be the thing I'm known for. And that's, I mean, it's really conceited to even think that it would become something like that, but since I've spent so much time working on it, it's one of these things that's like, why not? Let's get it to some friends who can correct my grammar and really it needs a good hard edit. And I've actually got somebody lined up that's more or less willing to do that for me, which is really nice. But the core of the story is really what I'm trying to focus on, trying to keep the integrity of. Because I've gotten some feedback that's like, well, you might need to scrap entire sections. I'm like, no, you don't understand. You don't know how long I've been working on this. Every piece of the story is very important to me. So I'm thinking maybe sometime next year, 2019, that if I can get it to the point where I feel like it's acceptable to share more publicly, I'm going to probably throw it up on Amazon for maybe like $1 download or something, just to see if there's a wider audience for it. So it's a big fantasy novel. If you're looking for the plug for it, the premise goes something like this. Lucas Palmer is a history professor in upstate New York, and one day his life is completely changed when he is visited by the demon by the name of Alistair and his partner are Mr. Bruce Myers. Together he joins them to travel the world and seal away an ancient evil that has existed since the dawn of time. And that is sort of the short version of the book, if you guys are at all interested in that. But again, we're talking 2019. That's a side project to the art, but I'm excited to at least kind of announce it and talk about it a little bit. Additionally, as I mentioned in sort of the recap, I've kind of been not doing as many shows, and I think 2019 is going to be a push to do more and to expand out beyond sort of the bubble that I've been in for a long time. I've sort of been mostly sticking with my art collective, and I think just trying to get out of that a little bit, not necessarily leave the collective, but to look beyond it in a lot of ways, because I mean I'm at least somewhat established now, so I think I at least have some back catalog credibility that if I'm going to a new show or going to like a totally new client or something like that, I might be able to actually reference back to stuff and maybe be able to expand my horizons just through having that other bits of experience. So I think that's going to be something I definitely want to push for my art offline, IRL, a little bit more. Another thing that people have been asking me over and over again, friends, fans, anytime I go to a show, everyone always says, do you have Instagram? And I always say, no, I have Twitter, I have Facebook, I'm on YouTube, and I'm on DeviantArt. And everyone kind of just goes, oh, well, I don't really use any of those that much, and you should really be on Instagram, and it's irritating. And the one thing that I always has kept me from Instagram is the sheer volume of artists who have their work stolen from Instagram and posted through companies. Things get ripped off all the time it happens. And it's insane to me that artists continue to use it knowing that. But I've been thinking about it, and I was like, if I don't post completed pieces the way I do on my website, on Facebook or DeviantArt, because I really frame those up, they look nice. If somebody really wanted to, they could probably rip me off and do prints that way. Granted, I upload JPEGs to there. If I'm doing prints, I've got a PNG. But I really like to kind of keep that more reserved to the accounts that I already have, especially my website. The best quality of my work is always on my website. So I was thinking, okay, if I were to use Instagram, what would I do with it? And I was like, okay, one thing I do on Twitter from time to time is post photos of me working on something in the studio. So, hey, it's studio, this is the project I'm working on. And I think that format would work on Instagram. There's also a lot of pictures I take that don't really ever get posted. They don't have a place, really. Stuff that I kind of want to maybe go to Twitter with, but it's like I don't know. This is more photography, or this is more just a side thing. Or like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And actually, a lot of my Twitter posts are photos. So I think that's where I want to expand into. So I'm going to try Instagram for 6 months in 2019, just to see what works. See if I can drive some new traffic in. See if I can do that. And I won't be posting completed art. That's going to be my one and very specific rule. So if you're on Instagram and you want to see my completed stuff, don't follow the Instagram. It will be as everywhere else. It is at Cinder Studios, or I don't know how it works at this point. I've created the account, but I won't sort of be launching the page until January. But I kind of want to just use it for that. Use it for behind-the-scenes studio stuff, for things that I have either photographed or little things that I think are inspiring that I want to try and share to some degree. And I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it's worth a try since everybody always asks. So I can at least say, do you have an Instagram? Yes, I don't post art on it, but feel free to check it out. And I think that's a way to kind of really kind of safeguard my work from theft, but at the same time hopefully drive in some new fans. And if you're on Instagram, once I kind of officially launch the account, I'm sure there'll be a video about it. Feel free to follow and share stuff. Comment. I don't know. I really don't know how Instagram even works. I don't know if you can share stuff or like a repost or a retweet. I don't know how it works at all. I'll have to figure that out. But I sound like such an old guy. But yeah, so it's going to be just like worth a shot. Let's just try it, and see what happens. And the last thing, this is sort of back to art a little bit, at least for 2019, is this year I picked up 2 pieces of alabaster. It's a softer stone. For a long time I've wanted to try subtractive sculpture, and I'm going to next year at some point. And I don't know how it's going to go. I have to, for once, the guy that makes tutorials, I have to look a lot of them up. I really have no idea how to tackle a project like this, or even what I'm going to do yet. But it should be interesting, and I can definitely guarantee that there's going to be some sort of a video to process or document my exploration of that as well. Now, beyond 2019, there's two projects that have kind of been hit the back burners since the move 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. The first one was the Kingdom of the Wind project. This one is something that I launched in 2016 as a way to try and do like a community viz dev project, which pretty much completely failed. I did a couple of pieces, only two of which I like, or one of which I like, I think. And the idea was to basically illustrate a short story that I wrote. And then open that up and like, hey, if anyone else wants to help me illustrate this. And my friend Rareth Rain is the only one who did anything. And then the project just kind of fell by the wayside, especially once I moved into the new place. So the long-term goal has been work on pieces for it, and then relaunch it as a Kickstarter for a self-published book that I can sell on the website. That's something it's been in the back of my mind ever since then. So I think at the very earliest late 2019, but probably sometime in spring of 2020, I will be working on relaunching that project, getting like all the assets and everything taken care of, and at that point, hopefully I'll have something that is very close to a finished product. And that's sort of the point of a Kickstarter, is to basically get the funds to get the books printed. So it's going to be a lot of work next year on that, hopefully. Yeah, so Kingdom of the Wind, again, it wasn't canceled, it just kind of got pushed to the side, and I'm hoping to do a relaunch of some sort by 2020. Additionally, one thing I mentioned in last year's message to my subscriber video was a art history video project. This is still kind of in the works too. The one thing I said last year that I want to do, I'm like, I at least want to get it written in 2018. Didn't even happen. So let's try that again. Let's try and get it written in 2019, and maybe by 2020 start filming the thing. If it all kind of works out, I've got an outline of somewhere around. I don't know where I put that, but it's something like 20-something parts to the entire like history of art history. And if I get everything filmed, whether in advance or as I go, which more likely will be as I go, it'll end up being it'll be like a bonus video every week. So it'll be like a Wednesday upload in addition to the Saturday upload, and it'll be like one a week all year long, which would be the sort of goal to that. But it is something I really want to do. There's not a great presence of teaching of traditional art history like anywhere on YouTube. I've looked for it, and there's a couple of artists kind of doing it a little bit, but not really to the extent that I'd like to see it done. So those are my plans for the upcoming year, and looking forward beyond that. A lot of long-term goals, and I'm actually not good with long-term goals. So I'm counting on you guys to kind of keep me accountable for that. So if you're in, comment on a video or something, remind me of this stuff, because I will forget. That's the ADD talking right there, is I'm going to forget. I guarantee you I'm going to forget. So remind me, please. And hopefully we can get there together. As always, again, thank you. It's been a great year. It's been also a bit of a trying year. It's mixed year, I guess. Maybe not a good year. Maybe more of a mixed year. Good stuff. Struggling with stuff, but I'm excited for next year. And I was excited for this year, and this year was cool. But there's more stuff coming, and there always is. And for that reason, I hope you guys stick around. If you liked this video, hit the like button. I know it was kind of long-winded. Sorry about that. Get subscribed if you're not already, but at this point, like, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, it seems a little odd because it's a message to subscribers, but whatever. Support on Patreon if you're able to. I've been saying this all year long, and I don't think anyone's taken me up on it, actually. That's another thing I gotta probably revamp for 2019, is I gotta really rework the Patreon thing. I know it's not everyone can even give me $1 a month or whatever it is, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's the push to live the dream, So if you can, toss a couple bucks my way, even if it's a one-time thing. I'd appreciate it, really. It's one of those things where it's like, every penny you guys put towards my stuff and the videos, I don't just pocket that stuff. That goes into making better videos. That it goes into getting art supplies that I can review for the channel, and that's really important. So again, like, subscribe, a little redundant here, support on Patreon, and this has been Cinder Studios, and I'll see you guys next time.